gonna play some little Outer Worlds. It's kind of like Fallout. Pretty fun game. I just got the key to go to where I need to go next, and I can't remember if I'm there yet. But I'm gonna level up real quick. I had to sell something I wasn't really happy with selling, but I kind of needed to do it because I didn't know what else to do for it. Where am I at? Real quick. Before I do this.
I have received a transmission from Roseway from a Dr. Shaw. Welcome back, Captain. I have received a transmission from Roseway from a Dr. Shaw. Beginning playback now.
What? Oh, is this on? Oh, it's on right now. Oh, blast. Hello? I'm trying to reach the captain of the Unreliable. I'll keep this short lest I get caught. Please return to Roseway as soon as you can. I have an item of great value that you'll be interested in. Now, how does this blasted thing turn off? Damn engineers never label these toggles clearly. Is it the...
The transmission is complete, Captain.
I moved for some entertainment. Got a minute to talk. I'd like to learn more about the colony. Talk to you later.
Take care. I require a functioning captain to run the ship.
Alright, let's go to Terra. See what the guy got for me. Sounds kind of
We're now in orbit above Roseway, Captain.
Important. Got a good item for me.
I think I'll initiate.
Gun thing. I'm gonna keep that. Alright. Can you give me some money for his friend? Somebody didn't want to sell.
Delays in loading due to commerce obstruction structure will be deducted from all staff pay.
I think he's right here, I think. Yeah. Hold on. I don't remember where this dude's at. Oh, right here. Alright.
Ah, I remember you. You must have received my wireless. Thank the law. I went to great risk to send that.
I did. What did you mean you have an item of great value?
Aha! I knew that it'd entice you to return to our dangerously unprofitable township. I asked you here because I have a working prototype of the Altinature, Auntie Cleo's very first weapon. I'd like you to have it before it gets confiscated.
Don't understand why you're giving me this. Confiscated, why?
The schematics you fetched for me lent themselves well to the creation of the beauty you now possess. Unfortunately, Auntie Cleo R&D felt otherwise. The market's already saturated, they said. Weapons are everywhere. They aren't interested in mass-producing the Altinature, which makes this an illegal prototype weapon. Given your unlawful proclivities, I thought it'd be safest with you. So here we are. I'd rather see it in the hands of a free agent than destroyed.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sure to put it to good use. give to energy weapon, I think. Will it take energy? Can't. Yep, energy. Okay.
Incoming! Something stronger! Get it up! Get it up! Try something else! That's the last of them!
What happened to all my freaking ammo? I had ammo. I don't know. Fuck me. That mark.
Captain, if you're looking for crew members Ellie or Felix, they're sharing a drink upstairs. We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
Hey, hold on there. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right?
Whatever, I'm not here for chit chat. You seem surprised. Well, that is my ship on the landing pad right next to you.
You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off.
What are they doing out there? Takes more than a few gunships scare me.
You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-road traffic. Us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Please state your name for the records.
Captain Alex Hoffman.
Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill.
Is Stellar Bay really that isolated? You're not what I expected to find on Monarch. I'm gonna have a look around.
We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago.
Stellar Bay really that okay. I'm gonna take a look
Mr.
around.
Sandra will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, And if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor?
That depends on what it is. I don't have time.
I got this Rizzo's Rangers Toswell poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in?
Sure, I can ask about your poster. Here's a black hole. The poster sounds pretty valuable.
Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
Journal. Check with Celia. Find 3 volumes. A few kindred spirits. There's a home for clues.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky. Help! Someone's been killed!
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Are you alright?
No! I just stepped in a dead man's blood. And I think one of the flies landed on my mouth. If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
Oh, sorry. It's so difficult.
Not much I can do for this guy.
Hospital veterans.
You don't look like Sublight. Must be freelance. Whatever you do, don't mention Tossball.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh?
I didn't mean to scare you. I'll go.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's proper.
Greetings. and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today?
What was the exchange about? You having money trouble? Graham asked me to check with about the taskbar poster.
You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grim wore her patience thin a long time ago.
Earlier, I heard you say you were having money trouble.
Or is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse, and then said you wasn't fixing it fast enough, so he's docking your wages again? Not that I got any prior experience with such.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid.
You normally blow your money on Raptidon parts. That's...
Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really.
Why are you buying so much from...
So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else.
I reckon she's got a little bit of a squish on this fella.
He's sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. And some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell.
Maybe I can talk to him for you.
Would you? I'd appreciate that so much. Maybe don't tell him I wanted you to ask. Just that you met this really nice lady named Celia, and she seemed... Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work.
Wait, I'm curious, what do you see in...
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
That's very generous of you. No, you have me eating with me. Maybe some other time.
Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself?
I'm looking for the information broker. I'm charting my own path, going where the wind takes me.
Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Hey, I could always be both. Afraid not. If I have to eat one more weird science project passed off as food in this brat fuck colony, I'm going to have someone. Just tell me how to find the broker so I can get...
Now, there's no need to humor me. I'm used to this particular letdown.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
What exactly are you hoping to accomplish? If you're free of the other corporations, why would you want to bring them back? Sounds like personal problem. I've got other concerns. Tell me about.
Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
So you're tired of scrounging and scrapping by all. Is that it? Sounds like you're fear than anyone else in Hillsong. Why are you not embracing it?
Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but a rather costly paramour.
You make a good point. So what do you mean to do about it? What's the coward's end?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and safe?
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
Lady knows what's going on enough for...
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
Fine, but how do you mean to do that? How long did it take for you to figure you needed to defend your city?
With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
This Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
Never realized fighting the bureaucracy could be this interesting.
It is quite the rush.
Where do I find one?
In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. These days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
And I guess I'll go to get your...
Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Alright, I need to ask something else. Sure, bye. Action.
Rapt Musk and Canid Eyes, right here. Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in Raptidon tongue? Or maybe some Canid toenails? You look like a woman who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts.
That's what you have. Let's talk about Celia. Why would I want any of that?
Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to ask her how that Raptidon acid is working out. I hope it's working okay, because no one else really seems interested in this stuff.
Would you consider going on a date with her?
Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a discount, hmm?
Oh, no, that's not it at all. She's smitten with you. You smited her. Smote? Smoot?
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real fine lady. Always talks nice and slow, so I understand. But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit, on account of no one else having any use for Raptidon tongues.
Don't take my word for it. Spend some time with her. I promise she won't ask for a discount.
You sound pretty sure. And she is awful nice.
Give her a chance. Give yourself a chance. Take her someplace nice.
Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice. Maybe to Chef Raymond's.
That's the spirit, Sebastian. Be yourself. Between you and me, Captain, I'm not sure Miss Celia knows him too well, but we can hope, right? I want them to be happy.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. Really? This fucking thing is pissing me off. I did not mean to do that.
You look like a woman.
So you have to trade. Maybe sometime later.
Have you talked to Sebastian yet? What did he...
He said he'll go on a date with you.
Okay, but how did he say it? Did he sound excited? Or like he was just agreeing to it? Was he like, yay, a date with Celia. I've secretly been waiting for this. Or was it more, sure, I don't have anything else going on?
He likes you, so just don't ask him for a discount.
Not to worry. If I never buy another Raptidon tongue, it'll be too soon. Ah, look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do, and Mr. Nandi's giving me that back to work look. Anyhow, thank you.
I don't mean to do that. This fucking thing pissed me off. Do that yet. That makes me have to go. Sure. Off this planet. I don't feel like going off the planet yet.
Well, well. The only new folk I ever see in town are sublight runners from Fallbrook. But you don't look like one of Catherine's. What can I get you? All sales are final, unless you threaten me. I'm kidding. Don't threaten me.
Reminds me of the crew cabin on one of my first ships.
You reckon a smell ever comes away? Maybe the wind.
That's the last of us!
Think they left anything good behind?
I wonder who used to live here. Do you suppose anyone remembers anymore?
Really freaking moving real stand slow.
Feels like real bits outside of Edgewater. Used up, needed, have to settle into it.
Yeah, just get me the nuggets for it. Yeah, nuggets. And if they have apple pies, give me some apple pies. That's on the first, it's on the sweet. Alright. Love you too. Bye. Yeah, it's saying it's okay.
Here they come!
Captain!
Everyone all right?
In there. Don't think they figured that out yet. Who are you? Sound like a Victorian.
Oh, thank the Eternal. I'm Huxley. Hux if you're lazy. I'm stuck. My friends and I were scavenging here, and a Meta Queen showed up. Then Raptidon, who's a void-blasted mess. I ran in here, and now the door's locked. Little help?
You got locked in how? Well, I need to get in that room. But maybe I'll let you start.
It's easier than it sounds, alright? Next time you get chased by Raptidons, you let me know the rationality of your decisions.
Well, I need to get in that room.
Phew. Thanks, lady. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. He locked me in here and took off. Probably got munched. So look for a dead guy, I guess. Or a rat. Maybe it's in a rat belly. Gross.
I think I found it.
Oh, much obliged.
Ah, phew. Thank you so much. It was getting all stuffy in there, and I was getting a mite lightheaded, and I think maybe I was gonna die. Now I'm out here, and I'm headed back to Amber Heights.
You sure you're okay to travel? Normally when you help us, they give you something for the trouble. Good luck. Yeah, just beat it. Attack.
Oh, sure, I'm a runner. I'm used to getting all dizzy and... Hey, who's your identical, slightly blurry friend?
Normally when you help, good luck, yeah.
What? I ain't got nothing on me. How's about a heaping helping of appreciation and respect?
Surely I have something on you. Put it a good word for me with a...
Can do.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, lady.
God damn it. Let's get down and back.
Ooh, smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload sell tuna shipments to the cannery. Am I the only one?
A fine day for business, isn't it? Anyway, what can I do for you?
Found the cartridge and deleted that data for you. Found your review on terminal in arms building. I have questions about MSI and a good old days. I met Graham Heat at landing pad.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
He did a bang up job.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you?
Found a review on the terminal and
You aren't supposed to look. I asked you to delete it.
Sorry, I was already open. You should have told me what was on the terminal. Yeah, you sent me into a Raptorian infested mess to clean up after you.
I didn't mean for any harm to come to you. This has been my albatross, the great shame of my career. I give MSI everything. My work, my youth, my left kidney, and for years, I was a joke to them.
Your left kidney?
One of the executives required a transplant.
He's lucky they didn't want a liver or a heart.
I thought volunteering to donate might improve my prospects. Apparently not.
Who cares what they think? You're in charge now. That's what you get for giving so much of yourself over to report.
In charge of a scrap heap of a city. Abandoned by the board and surviving only through the hypocrisy of our trading partners.
And you've made it work. That's more than anyone can say for those.
I hadn't thought of it that way. But perhaps there's something to that. Thank you for that. Was there something else? Oh, yes. I'm going to be up all night with this. All those blanks waiting to be filled, boxes waiting to be ticked.
Try to control yourself, sir.
Have you any idea how powerful this is? Corporations have been toppled with less.
How exactly is data cartridge going to help?
What a question! Bureaucratic micromanagement is the only way anything gets done in Halcyon, and proper documentation is a key part of that. For our part, a bill of liquidation/transfer Form 52 will protect our holdings on Monarch by temporarily assigning them to a pass-through entity once we drop our bomb on the board.
Yes, finally the board will get their components. Spare me the details and just tell me what comes next. Let me guess. A paperweight. So you do want against the board and don't be ridiculous.
Corporate espionage. How was that, Celia? Did I sell it?
Your best delivery yet, sir.
You killed it, Sanjar. Just get on with it. It kind of spoils the fact if you have to ask.
Celia?
Already noted for your review, sir.
So this plan of yours.
I have reason to believe that one of the other corporations is operating on Monarch. Illegally and in secret.
Is it really illegal if the board's the one that makes the rules in the first place?
If we can find proof, I can use that as leverage to encourage certain powers that be to accept our Bolt 52 and reinstate us on the board.
Sanjar, you side-eyed. What does that mean for me?
You really think so?
Don't encourage him.
I admit I've been hatching this scheme for quite some time. I just needed someone capable to help me carry it out. If someone is operating here, then Catherine's almost certainly supplying them out of Fallbrook. Perhaps she could be convinced to tell you where they are.
I know how to make people talk. Sounds like you know her well enough yourself.
Oh, I imagine you do. But as much as I love your can-do attitude and dangerous gravitas, Catherine handles all of our shipments. So it would be best if you could leave her in one piece. Is that how you people put it?
Close enough. Watch it with you people.
Once you, subtly work out where this corporate facility might be, bring back proof of its operation. Maybe some nice letterhead. Or someone working there. That would do it.
Infiltrate the secret corporate base. Kidnap staff. Sure, easy. I'm on it.
I knew you were the right person for the job. I suppose I'll leave you to it.
I have questions about MSI in the good old days.
Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes.
Why did MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Do you mean that you infiltrate your own removal from the board?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2, but back then it was known as Terra 1. Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out. Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to, but there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Like that's what you saw in Edgewater? Come on. People look out for themselves.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
I think they should embrace your ideas using the board to get them clever.
That's what I thought. But the senior executives laughed in our faces and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Yeah, here you are.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI.
Must have pissed off some real big suits to get stuck with that.
On the contrary, I wrote lots of very important reports on behalf of top MSI officials before I was able to achieve this position. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
Law even for the... Why would they do that? You should have known you couldn't oppose them.
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
I want to talk about something else. Why exactly do you want back on the board?
It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
Well, I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments.
And they evoked it on Monarch?
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
Why exactly do you want back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
If you can't beat him, might as well join him and reach into their pockets.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
They've threatened you pretty roughly. Is it worth going back to that? Can't fault you for their practicity.
Indeed. We've got to consider realities, not ideals. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
You mean the corporate data you sent me after?
Indeed. I've discovered it's much easier to negotiate from a position of power. And I don't mean to leave MSI or its people at a disadvantage. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations. What can I do for you?
Gonna call it here. If you can hit the like, share, and subscribe, be very appreciative, and have a wonderful day.